Next up, we have the Skar King figure, which honestly, in my opinion, is definitely the weaker one of the two. Just primarily because of like one big glaring issue, but we'll get to that in just a sec. But let's start with the sculpt and paint. Again, sculpt unchanged from the original figure. You already know how the face is. We've got the blue eyes with the black pupils. We have like the red streak across his head. And we've got the whole thing pretty much plastered in white, as it is in the film. Well, more so like a darker type color, but we definitely have like a much more eggshell color for the teeth. And then we have like some engraved nostrils there. Moving on down, we have some more detail with the red. Pretty much the plastic used, pretty much base red. Then we have like the white spray that kind of goes across. And then we kind of have more of the red plastic shown. But what's different about this one is that it features some much more black slash brown colored paint, in addition to the red and white. In my opinion, it looks this is the one thing that I actually like better about this figure than the original is that while it is technically more movie accurate, I like this sort of variation with like the color and the color they chose, giving it a much more burnt up look. We have some like that brown on like the sides, like on the biceps, and definitely like more so on the underside, and then we have like some on the pecs, and then we have some more on like the abs here. Then we have some like streaks of it down here towards the upper legs, and we continue to have more of that white spray underneath here and here, and pretty much bottom it all off, not to really top it off, the red plastic making a return as well, and it's kind of like inconsistent but in a good way, and I honestly like how it's kind of mixed in together, and it just gives it again more color variety, and that's what kind of leans me more towards this figure than the other one. Obviously, we have the return of the red paint streaks that I don't really like, as they look just cheaply applied, and there's really no substance to it, especially when they stop here and there's even like two pieces of strip that obviously connect, and then they stop there. Like they don't even go all the way. And again, it just doesn't look all that good. I don't really feel like this is skin. I mean, that's probably not what it is, but still. But of course, we still have the nice clenched fists. Obviously, him to hold this whip, and then we have some like white spray down here. And as for the fur detail, again, pretty consistent throughout the whole figure. There's no place where it's like absolutely smoothed over. And actually, again, the back showcases a lot more of that detail. But I think that's also my biggest problem with these figures is that they don't carry the paint that's on these ones and on the front to the back. I really feel like they would have benefited from it, and especially because it's a back display. Like logically, it wouldn't be shining from the front; it would also be in the back too. So while the sculpt and paint is good, I honestly think that while the paint itself is an upgrade from the original, and I like that they kept the same sculpt. But that being said, I would have also liked to see some more paint on the back side of it, as opposed to it just being exclusive to the front, and that goes for both Skar King and Kong. But for articulation, we have a swivel here at the head, so we can pretty much go all the way around. Same problem with Kong, except Skar King does not suffer from it as much. Swivel hinges for the shoulders, so you can kind of go up and down with those. Mine's not too stiff, thankfully. We have swivel hinges for the elbows, so you can kind of twist and turn those around. Uh, there we go. I think mine was stuck or something. Swivels for the hands. A ball joint here at the ab crunch, so you can pretty much get a lot of good range out of it, especially like side to side, and then forward and back with that too. Swivel hinges for the hips, although same problem with the Kong is that at a certain point they just stop because they just put the paint on and then called it a day. So, but you do get some nice side to side action, cut in the paint. And you also get a hinge at the knee, nothing at the foot though. So it's definitely the most acrobatic and like flexible of the figures that are like the basic 6-inch figures. If you don't count Zuko, because if I think you count Zuko, that either ties him or he exceeds him, but still pretty darn good in my opinion For Skar King's accessory, he actually comes with his bone whip again. However, there is a bit of a difference. For the most part, there's really nothing much different. It's the same thing. Bone white, it's flexible, not no bendy wire, so just automatically like this. But as you can see, there's a bit of a brown slash black spray on the whip itself, right here and here on this side of the jaw. There's nothing on this side. And essentially, how you put it on has never been more simple. Take this hand, take this nub, and shove that thing in there. And you're pretty much got your Skar King ready to whip. Yay, hours of fun. Whatever. But the second way you can hold it is essentially the way it comes out in the box. You just wrap it around like that. And click it into place. It's a little hard to do. There you go. So now you got your Skar King with the whip slash. And honestly, it looks great, especially like with the color palette and everything. So overall, for Skar King, again, basic repaint, literally the same exact figure as what came before. However, I just think that, like, also, I guess I should point out, like, another problem, is that my feet are warped. I don't know, like, specifically what it is, like, maybe it's the lower leg, but I cannot get my Skar King to stand perfectly on the ground. Because if I try it this way, then he'll, like, go backwards. Like, my original one did not have this problem where it's like almost impossible to have the legs aligned properly, because even if I try doing this, it doesn't work. Like, even here, I even made it worse. And so that's a bit of a problem when it comes to these box exclusive figures, is that, especially because I had this problem with Kong as well, but Skar King is definitely the worst offender because he fell down like 3 times after I tried to put him on my shelf. And I don't even have him up with the rest of my GXK figures, so yeah, it's definitely a bit of a problem, but overall, it's not like, if you have some figure stands, which I don't, sadly, I'm just gonna rest him up against this wall. It's honestly fine. Again, overall, Skar King, you can really go worse. It's not a... This Skar King is honestly not bad. It's a repaint of a pre-existing figure, but I like its paint job. I like its sculpt. I like its accessory. But that aside, let's move on to the next thing.